Whoa. There we go. I was, I was saying what's up to everyone, and hey, hope you're doing great. Dean Kulaweera here. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, strategies, recruitment tips, advice, and strategies to help you out in your job search, as well as your if you're an organization, if you're a hiring team, with your recruitment strategy and how that's playing out and all that. All right. So look, I hope you're doing great. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic week so far. Don't feel shy. Feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And of course, any questions you have, folks, anything goes, anything. I know most of you tuning in are primarily job seekers. So anything job search related, you have any issues with your just overall job search strategy, resume, you need resume tips or advice, you need interview tips and advice, salary negotiation tips and advice, anything goes, feel free to put it in the comments. And as I go through with what I wanted to talk about today, which is the magic bullet. Is there a magic bullet to professional networking? That's what I'm going to be covering in today's session. So anything related to networking as well, feel free to drop it in the comments. Any or maybe you want to share your own tips and advice in regards to networking and how to network more effectively. Because networking is such an important part of your any good job search strategy, right? I mean, you got to be getting in front of and putting yourself in front of the right people, whether that's recruiters, whether that's hiring managers, whether that's maybe colleagues or friends, people that can refer you for opportunities. All of that, folks, it's a full 360. Like networking covers all of that stuff. It's a must-have strategy you need to incorporate into your job search. All right. So anything related to networking, feel free to put your questions in the comments, or even anything outside of networking as well. All right, I'm gonna get to your question shortly. Quick shout out to everyone tuning in from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Always appreciate everyone tuning in. And just also for those of you who might be curious about following me on my other social channels. You can follow me. All my links are at this link right here, which is linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. All of my social links are over there. So if you want to follow me on any channels you're not following me on already, definitely check out my Linktree page. It has all my links, so you can check me out on all those other channels. Especially if you want like daily tips, I post daily 60-second job search tips and advice videos on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as Facebook as well. So definitely, if you want like a quick tidbit, like a quick job search tidbit every day, 60 seconds, definitely make sure you follow me on those channels as well. All right. So, and also if you're liking my stuff, if you've been following me for a while, if you're liking my stuff, you're liking my content, really appreciate that. And make sure you hit me up with a like and a comment and a share as well. That always helps the algorithm in pushing my content out there. And I can't do that without the help of you folks out there. Right. So I really appreciate that. Now, what else was I going to say? Yeah, make sure you subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. So I release a new LinkedIn newsletter edition every Monday, typically during the afternoon, where I talk about various job search as well as recruitment topics. A huge shout out and a huge thank you to everyone who's already subscribed to my newsletter. Really appreciate your interactions and your feedback, and I'm getting great feedback from some of you who've been sending me private messages and saying, hey, I love the newsletter. It's a lot of great stuff, really helpful. So really appreciate that. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, just go to the featured section and just scroll through, the items in the featured section. I think it should be like the third item in the featured section. There should be a link to subscribe to check out my LinkedIn newsletter and subscribe there. And you'll get a notification and an email notification as well every week when I release a new edition on Mondays. All right, so make sure you check it out. Today's segment is sponsored by Tech Recruiters 360, which is my IT recruitment business. So if you're an IT professional anywhere in Canada, you're looking for your next gig, you're an organization anywhere in Canada, you're looking for IT talent, make sure you hit me up with a direct message or a connection request or a follow. I definitely want to see if there's any way I can assist you, whichever side of the table you're at. I specialize in recruiting across the board for IT, primarily software development, IT operations, infrastructure roles, systems administrators, network administrators, business analysts, project managers, program managers, whatever your skill set, whatever you are, folks. If you're in tech anywhere in Canada, definitely feel free to give me a shout. All right, I'm gonna do my best to help you. If not right now, at some point in the future. Same thing goes for organizations. If you're looking for IT talent, you're having some struggles and challenges, definitely feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear more about your challenges and see if there's any way I can assist you. This session is also sponsored by DK Global Talent, which is my training business. So if you're a job seeker, your major challenge right now is you're applying for jobs, you're not getting responses, or you're not getting as much responses as you'd like. My course, which is Applying to Jobs Online 101, I teach, and it's a 3-hour course. You can complete it in one setting, and you get lifetime access to it. But I teach you how to make use of direct messaging, making direct contact with recruiters and hiring managers in order to generate more responses to your applications. So you can at least increase your chances of those conversations that convert into actual interviews. All right. Because the biggest challenge a lot of you are facing is not that you have a crappy resume or you're not, you don't have an impressive background. It's simply that your resume, your application is getting lost amongst a pile of hundreds, if not thousands of other applications. That is the major issue, folks, right? So you got to make use of something else to stand out. And in my course, I teach you how to make use of direct messaging to stand out to recruiters and hiring teams. All right. So feel free to check it out. You can check more information about that at dkglobaltalent.com/get responses, dkglobaltalent.com/get responses for more details about that. All right. So getting into today's session, let's talk about is there a magic bullet? What is the closest thing to a magic bullet in professional networking events? Right now, yesterday, I went to my first in-person networking event after 2 years. And I got to tell you, folks, I was both nervous and anxious as well as excited as well. Because I love being around people, right? I love being around people. I'm definitely a people person. But at the same time, like this is the first in-person event I've been to since the whole advent of this pandemic, right? Because I haven't been going I think there was a restriction on in-person events, especially large groups, and I just haven't been going to these in-person events. So yesterday I went to an event organized by the Toronto Region Board of Trade. It was my first event attending, and the reason why I wanted to attend this event, just to be very transparent with all of you, is I've been kind of on the fence and considering whether I should join as a member, like the Toronto Region Board of Trade. And I wanted to just check out this event and see what it's like, see what the environment's like, see how welcoming they are, and see how these events are structured, and whether I'm going to be meeting the kind of people I want to be meeting, potential clients as well as people in tech and all that. And the event I went to yesterday was called Work Summit 2.0. So the topic was about talent acquisition and talent shortage, the talent gap that's being experienced right now by some industries and organizations. So anyway, I'm not going to get into the topic and all that stuff, but if you want to check out some pictures from the event, just go to my LinkedIn profile and check out the features section. You'll be able to check out some of the pictures I took of the event. It was a great event. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed the event. But hey, look, I was real nervous and anxious because it was my first time. Like, it's different when you're interacting with people over Zoom and doing these live streams and stuff. But I was so nervous. And some of you might be like, Dean, are you kidding me? Like, you're supposed to be a recruiter. You're supposed to be so extroverted and people person, all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it is possible to be people person and extroverted and like being around people. But at the same time, folks, social skills, the skill of networking and social skills, like it's a muscle you got to exercise, right? Now, this muscle, at least from an in-person standpoint, Dean has not been exercising this muscle, especially in these large group environments, for 2 years. So I was so nervous and anxious. In fact, when I got there, I had to go. I was in the bathroom and I was like giving myself a pep talk. I was like, come on, man. Like, why are you so nervous and anxious? You've done this before. Like, you got to get yourself out there. You're a recruiter. Like, shame on you. Like, you're putting yourself out there on live streams and Zooms and stuff like that. Like, you got to get out there and start getting back into the old school way of, meeting with, connecting with, and networking with people, right? So anyway, I gave this quick pep talk to myself for like 5 minutes. And then I went out there, and then everything was much better. But I sat at my table, and I introduced myself to everyone at the table, and I was like, look, this is my first networking event after like 2 years, so my social skills are like way down there. And we were all laughing about it, and everyone else was like, you know what, same with me. Mostly everyone, that's what everyone else was saying, folks, right? So if you're considering getting back into these in-person events, outside of any concerns you have about the pandemic and going in safely with your mask and all that stuff, I personally, I think that's a personal choice, so it's up to you. But outside of that, if you're getting into these events, if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling a little nervous, look, if it happens to me being a recruiter, okay, if I feel nervous and anxious, it's completely normal for anyone else out there to be feeling that way as well, right? But if you're going to get into these events, you got to throw yourself into the fire. You got to get yourself out there. And which brings me to today's topic. What I wanted to speak about is I had this great conversation with a new friend I made at the event, and I was pretty much asking them because like I said, I'm considering whether or not I should join as a member of the Toronto Region Board of Trade. I've definitely been considering it. And I was like, and this person, they're a current member with Toronto Region Board of Trade. So I was asking them, hey, look, is it worth joining these kind of networking events and networking groups? Like, what are your thoughts? What's your feedback? And they gave me such a great piece of advice. And this is another reason why I love attending these events, folks, because you can always learn something new, right? As involved I am in the job seeker, job search, recruitment community and all that, even I learned something new, right, at these events. And the advice this person gave was, look, you got to look at it from a long-term strategy, right? You got to look at networking events, Dean, from a long-term standpoint. You can't expect to come into one event and expect like, hey, it's going to change everything for you, right? You can't expect to meet the clients you want, meet the customers you want. For those of you who are job seekers, meet the potential hiring managers or recruiters you want to meet. It's not going to happen attending just one event. And the way this person explained it to me, it was like, look, at most of these events, it's like a small community. And typically you're going to see a lot of familiar faces at a lot of these events. And guess what? If you keep attending these events, you're going to be one of those familiar faces as well. And then when the more you're seen, the more of a consistent presence you are at these events, the more easier it's going to be for you to connect with other people in this quote unquote community, right? Because if you keep attending the same events in this group, in this community that you're looking to join, you're going to be a frequent presence, right? People are going to see you. You're going to look familiar. It's going to be way easier for you to go up to people and introduce yourself. Or, hey, maybe someone might come up to you and be like, hey, I saw you at that last event. I keep seeing you at all these events. I thought I'd come over and introduce myself. Who knows? Like, these things can happen, folks, right? But this made me think that, hey, this is probably the closest thing to a magic bullet when it comes to professional networking. Because I could give you folks all the advice you want about, hey, how do you introduce yourself? How do you meet people? How do you, how do you structure your conversation? All of that stuff. There's a lot of information out there. If not from myself, all you got to do is go on Google and figure that stuff out, right? As long as it's from a credible source, of course. But it made me think, like, I was like, wow, that's such a great point. Like, I never really thought about it from that standpoint. Like, you got to attend these events. You got to be a consistent presence. And it's like a little community, right? Especially if you're joining a specific group, right? Now the Toronto Region Board of Trade is one group I'm definitely considering, like, becoming a member. Another one I'm considering is Tech TO, because, of course, I'm a tech recruiter. So I got to be in the tech community, right? And it just totally changed like how I need to be approaching my networking strategy, because it's not just about being a good communicator. It's not just about communicating with others, showing interest in others. Of course, that stuff is important, but it's important if you're joining one of these community groups, right? Whether it's related to your industry, whether it's related to your religion, whether it's related to some hobby or interest that you're at. Attending one event, it's not going to get you your results, folks, right? This conversation I had with this new friend I made me realize this. Like, this is a long-term strategy. So I just wanted to share with you what I'm going to be doing, like what my strategy is going to be moving forward, just to be very transparent with you, like what I'm going to be doing. Like, and this is my key takeaway from this conversation I had at this event. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I got to pick out some groups, some communities where it makes sense for me, for Dean, to be present, right? For me to be there. So what I'm thinking is like I gotta be a part of these tech related groups, tech related communities for sure, because I recruit in tech. Like I gotta be around the tech community, right? So definitely there. The other group is maybe groups or communities or institutions or gatherings related to recruitment, talent acquisition, groups that basically discuss challenges in my industry. Definitely another group I got to be part of. I mean, these are the two main groups that I myself, like, I got to be researching and figuring out how can I be a part of these groups, right? So the first tip is you got to pick a group. Like, you got to pick a group, you got to pick a community. Now, I'm talking about things from a professional work standpoint, but it doesn't have to be. Like, I'm thinking like, hey, maybe you could join groups related to your hobbies or interests. Maybe you got to join groups related to your religious beliefs. Maybe you got, hey, as controversial as it might sound, folks, maybe you got to join some groups related to your political preferences, right? Whatever that is. Like, these are all opportunities for you to make use of this strategy that I'm going to be talking about. This possible magic bullet, or something close to a magic bullet as possible, in terms of being a familiar presence. You got to you got to infuse yourself into these communities. Like, I recently started salsa dancing, and I love it. But I'm not Hispanic, by the way. But I recently got back into salsa dancing. I used to be into the salsa community like a couple of years back, and I kind of left. But now I'm back, and this is another potential community like I got to be a part of. Like, sure, maybe it's more about dancing and having fun and salsa community and all of that stuff. But hey, is it not impossible that I might meet someone work related as well? Absolutely, 100%. In fact, I remember one of the classes that I went to a couple of weeks back. I actually met a tech professional, someone in IT. Will that benefit me at some point? Hey, absolutely. Will I be able to benefit that person at some point? Absolutely, right? So you got to be looking at, hey, what are some communities that I can be a part of? And then the next thing is, how can I be seen at their events? Like, how can I be seen at their events? How can I be seen at their gatherings and stuff like that? And connect with people, not necessarily, again, regarding work related stuff. Like, it could be, again, hobbies, interests, political beliefs, religious beliefs, whatever it is. These are all inroads for you to get into, ways for you to meet people that you can leverage in your professional life as well, right? That's the point I'm trying to make here. This is going to be my strategy moving forward. So I got to pick out these groups, I got to pick out these communities. And the fact is, just like my new friend said at this when I was at the event yesterday, is, Dean, it's usually the same people attending these events. It's usually the same people. You're gonna, maybe not everyone is gonna be attending every event, but usually it's gonna be the same people. You're gonna see a lot of familiar faces. And guess what? Those people are gonna see you as a familiar face as well. And it's gonna be way easier for you to go up to people, introduce yourself, and say, hey, I saw you at the last event. I keep seeing you at these events. Let's talk, let's connect. It's way easier to build those relationships, right? And I definitely see the value in that. And you got to be seen consistently. So you can't just join a group or a community, show up at one event, and then be like, nothing came out of it, so it's not working. I mean, networking sucks, networking doesn't work. I mean, that's not the right attitude, right? You got to look at it in terms of, how can it be seen frequently and consistently at these events, right? We got my friend Philip Kane in the house. Philip says, hi, Dean. Hey, Philip, good to see you here. Appreciate you joining in. Let me know, Philip, what are your thoughts about joining a community and networking? How important is that to you, right? Because what I've been talking about, Philip, is, I was at a networking event and I got the advice by someone, by a new friend I made, and they said, Dean, you can't just join a community, attend one event and expect results. Like, you got to be seen at the events organized by this community frequently, because you're going to be seeing a lot of frequent, familiar faces, the same people coming around in this community, and that's how it's going to be much easier for you to build those relationships with the people you potentially want to meet, like that. So it comes down to that familiarity, and it makes the networking way easier. Now, this is going to be very helpful for those of you who might be a little shy, maybe a little introverted, right? So I think this strategy works perfectly for those of you who might not be as maybe outspoken as someone who's very extroverted or someone who's not who's like has no problem approaching a complete stranger, putting out their hand, introducing themselves, and being like, "Hey, my name is so and so, blah blah blah," and starting a conversation. So I think this is great for those of you out there, for those of us out there who might be a little shy, maybe a little introverted, or maybe those of us like me who's a little nervous because we haven't been to these in-person networking events in like 2 years. Like everything's been on Zoom and social media and live streams like this for me. So it's a muscle that I got to exercise as well, right? And I think this is great. Like just keep on, like pick a community. Basically, my takeaway is this, folks. All right, and I know I'm kind of rambling here, but this is my key takeaway. All right, pick out some communities or some groups you want to be a part of. See if it makes sense for you to attend their events and attend at least one of their events to kind of figure out, hey, does it make sense for me to join this group or keep showing up to their events, right? That's the second thing. Third thing is be a frequent and consistent presence at their events, right? You're going to see a lot of familiar faces. And the more you're seen, the more you attend their events, if it makes sense for you, the more other people are going to be like, hey, I see this person like all the time. And it's going to be way easier for you to have conversations and build those relationships with the people that you meet at these events, right? So these were my key takeaways, folks, from just attending this event and just meeting someone new, right? So we got Zobia in the house. Hey, Zobia, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. And what's up to you as well? We got Michelle in the house as well, who says, hi, I'd like to be part of a networking event too. Yeah, Michelle, I highly recommend it, right? I highly recommend it. So what I was talking about, Michelle, is Michelle, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but what I was talking about is you got to pick out the right groups, right? The right community, the right groups. And then you got to figure out, does it make sense for me to attend these events or these events organized by this group? And finally, you got to figure out a way on how you can be seen at most of their events, at least the ones that make sense for you to be at. Like you got to be a familiar face, because just attending one event, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough just attending one event and like, okay, who can I network with? Okay, I got to meet this person, this person, this person, this person. Well, folks, it takes a lot. Some people take time to build trust, right? Just because you met someone does not mean they feel comfortable with referring you to new clients or new opportunities or new jobs or whatever it is, whatever your intention is. Like sometimes you got to attend multiple events. You got to meet with them multiple times. And that's how they're going to be like, okay, this person's more familiar to me now. I've seen them at a few events. And now they feel more comfortable in getting to know you more and maybe seeing if they can help you. Maybe they can introduce you to someone else. And from there, it's like a snowball effect, right? So you got to figure out these groups you want to be a part of. You want to figure out which events you want to attend, and you want to attend as many of their events as possible and be a familiar face. Get involved in the group, get involved in the community. And when you have that familiar face, that consistency in attending the events, being a frequent presence, that's how other people are going to feel more comfortable. And it's going to be way easier for you folks. I promise you, it's going to be way easier for you to introduce yourself to others, make connections, build connections, simply because like people see you at all of these events, right? We got Philip Kane, who says, just knowing people isn't enough. People will want to understand what value they gain by knowing you. Yeah, absolutely. Good point there, Philip. They definitely want to know that, right? And you know what, folks? This is what I'm going to be doing myself. Like this is going to be part of my networking strategy. Like I'm going to be figuring out which groups do I want to be a part of, right? Now I mentioned a couple to you as well, right? I mentioned Toronto Region Board of Trade. I'm seriously considering becoming a member there. This is not an endorsement, by the way. This is just Dean, just talking out loud here. Tech TO, that's another one I definitely want to consider being a part of. And what I'm next going to do is I'm going to attend their events, because I got to be a consistent presence. I got to be a familiar face to that community, right? And the more the people in these communities see me at their events, the more they're probably going to be open to networking with me, getting to know me, and me getting to know them. And it's like a very symbiotic kind of a thing from there, right? So yeah, that's my advice for you folks out there today, right? I mean, I personally feel like this is the closest thing to a magic bullet when it comes to professional networking. It's something I'm going to be implementing in my professional networking events. And by the way, for those of you in Toronto, anyone in Toronto, if you're aware of any groups, any gatherings, if you want me to attend some event being held by your group, let me know. I don't care I don't care what kind of event it is, as long as it's nothing like, negative or, oppressive or negative or anything like that. Outside of that, hey, I'd love to hear about what events you have going on in your community. All right. If you're based out of here in Toronto, Canada, Greater Toronto area, I'd love to attend, especially if it's an in-person networking event. hey, I need your help too, folks. All right, this is not just about me helping you folks with tips and advice. Like, I need help from you folks as well. So any community groups, industry related, whatever, community related, whatever it is, I'd love to be a part of and attend your events as well, because I want to be seen. I want to know you. I want to connect with you. I want to connect with people in your community. So just let me know. Give me a shout. Just shoot me a message. Be like, hey, Dean, we got this event going on in my community. Blah blah blah. It's happening such and such date. Feel free to come out. Hey, I'd love to get those invites, folks. So just let me know. Give me a heads up. All right. So if you have any questions at this point, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, whether it's about networking, whether it's about jobs. You need job search. You have job search questions, resume tips and advice. You need interview tips and advice, negotiation tips and advice. Feel free to start dropping it in the comments right now, folks. And I'm happy to hook you up with some advice right now while I'm on here. But if I don't see any questions, I am gonna end the stream. So just let me know. So Mitzel said, you pronounce my name well. All right, awesome. Good. Happy to hear that, Mitzel. And feel free to call me Dean. All right. So appreciate you tuning in. So we got Philip. Philip says, be the one offering to connect people with others, then rely on your acts of kindness to be paid back. Approaching people with what can you do for me is a turnoff. 100% agree. 100% agree with that, Philip. And I actually spoke about this. I think it was 2-3 weeks back, right? And this is such a great point you brought up, Philip. Like folks, when you go to these networking events, when you go to these community events, whatever they are, don't be that person that just introduces yourself. You're like, hey, my name's Dean. I'm an IT recruiter. I'm looking for new clients. Who do you know that can, that's looking for help from an IT? No, that's the wrong approach. Like, you have to show interest in other people. You got to show interest in other people, right? So if I were to be at a networking event, if Philip was there at the networking event, I'd probably go up to Philip. I'd be like, hey, Philip, my name's Dean. Good to meet you. I'm a tech recruiter. So what do you do? I might ask Philip about him instead. I'm going to ask about him first. I'm going to be like, so Philip, what made you attend this event? What do you like about the event? If it was an event with speakers, I'd be like, Philip, who was your favorite speaker? What was your key takeaway from what they spoke about? Like, I got to ask about Philip, right? And then it's going to transition into, okay, so Philip, what do you do for work? Where do you work? What do you do? What are your biggest challenges with that? Blah, blah, blah. I got to show interest in Philip. And guess what, folks? 99% of the time, Philip will reciprocate, and he's going to ask about me, right? And while I'm asking about him, just like how Philip's saying in his great comment here, is I got to figure out, hey, how can I help Philip? Like, is there someone I can introduce in my network to Philip? Or is there someone I met at this very same event that might benefit from connecting with Philip? Then I might want to introduce them to that person, right? That I met at the same event that we're at right now, right? And ultimately what's going to happen is, and it's almost magical, but Philip will reciprocate, and he's going to ask about me, because he's going to be like, okay, this dude Dean seems like a nice guy, but I keep talking about myself. Let me ask about him. Then he's going to be like, so Dean, what do you do? Well, what are you about? What do you do as an IT recruiter? Who can I help you connect with? Like, he's going to reciprocate, right? That's how it works, folks. But you got to first put the focus on the other person, and you got to see how you can add value to them. And majority of the time, folks, people are going to reciprocate, and they're going to want to see how they can help you, right? So a great comment there, Philip. And by the way, folks, make sure you look up Philip. He's got a great Twitter account. He posts a lot on, I don't know how the weather people do it. I can never do this the right way. Look up Philip on Twitter. He posts some great stuff on Twitter, a lot of great content there, a lot of great thoughts and insights. So make sure you follow and look up Philip on Twitter. Philip, feel free to share your Twitter handle in the comments. Great guy to follow, folks. Make sure you check Philip out on Twitter, all right? So that's all for today, folks. Look, I hope today's my insights today from about networking, what I believe to be like the closest magic bullet to professional networking events. Hope you folks implement that into your own networking strategy as well. I know I'm going to do with my own networking strategy, folks. Like, I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for these community events, for these networking events, industry events, where I can attend these events, and I can figure out, does it make sense for me to be a consistent, frequent presence for this group? And if it is, you're going to be seeing me at these events, folks, because that's how I'm going to be a familiar face. That's how I'm going to be known. That's how others are going to know me. That's how I'm going to know other people, and see if I can be of value to others, right? So let's see. We got a question here from Shopi. So shout out to Shopi. Thanks so much for tuning in, Shopi. Shopi's question is, hi, Dean. I'm looking to build a career in business analysis. I have 6 years of experience in customer success and IT operations, and currently studying information systems business analysis at George Brown College. Oh, awesome. Congrats on that, Shopi. Please advise, how do I introduce myself? Okay, so Shopi, I'm not sure if you're asking how do you like this from a networking standpoint. Like I'm assuming Shopi, you're asking how do you introduce yourself at a networking event? That's what I'm assuming what you're asking here, Shopi. You introduce yourself exactly the same way you've done right here, Shopi, right? So if we were at a networking event, and I was there, you came to introduce yourself. You might be like, "Hey, Dean, my name is Shopi. I have 6 years of experience in customer success and IT operations. I'm currently studying information systems analysis at George Brown College." And then you would probably reciprocate and ask, "So what do you do?" Right? So you got to introduce yourself, folks, and then flip it around and put the focus on the other person. That's how you're going to get other people to reciprocate and want to know more about you, right? So Shopi said, like, should I focus on experience? Well, maybe add more context, Shopi. Like, are you, because I was talking about networking, so I'm assuming you're talking about how do you introduce yourself at a networking event, but I'm not sure what exactly you're asking here. Like, are you asking about a networking event? Are you asking about how do you introduce yourself at an interview? How do you introduce yourself on LinkedIn? Like, maybe let me know what specifically you're asking in terms of the context here. But whatever the case, like if it's at a networking event, since that was today's topic, if you're introducing yourself at a networking event, it's fine to introduce yourself like that, but don't get right into talking about what you want and yeah, I need help finding work or I'm looking for new job opportunities. Like, don't get right into that right away. Like, introduce yourself. My name's Shopi. I'm currently studying systems business analysis at George Brown College, and before that I have 6 years of experience in customer success and IT operations. How about you? Tell me about yourself. What do you do? Why are you at this event? Who was your favorite speaker? Like you gotta flip it around and ask about the other person. Show interest in the other person, and the more you show interest in the other person, Shilpi, the more that they're going to reciprocate and ask about you. And that's when you can finally talk about your current situation and the fact that you're looking for new job opportunities and all that stuff, right? So that would be my advice to you, Shilpi. Hope that helps. And hey, given that you're in IT, maybe I'll see you at a future tech-related networking event. All right. So if you do, make sure you let me know, and make sure you come say hi to me. All right. So I hope that helps everyone, and hope everyone out there has a fantastic week ahead. Make sure you mark your calendars, folks. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, and strategies to help you out in your job search. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you follow me on all my other social channels. All my social links are at this address right here, my Linktree page, which is linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. Again, linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. All my social links are there, so make sure you follow me, folks, on all those other channels. And I'll see you around next time. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. Stay positive and keep moving through, folks. Keep pushing through. Keep moving through. Don't give up. And I'll see you around next week. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone.